So obviously scientists, worldly cowards, traitors, psychologists, pedophiles, illusionists, homosexuals, feminists, ethnocentrists, etc. Are all the enemies of God. Well, I'm half black and half white. Some of my enemies are Igbos who are perhaps the closest to the line of God. That is probably the simplest way to explain it. And they have chosen a worldly philosophy because the Spirit didn't choose them. One might ask, well, what happens when you have 3 kids, 10 kids, and God chooses one to be the best warrior, right? The Son of God, the Spirit of the Son expressed through the warrior, the chi, the warrior's chi, his spirit, right? His guiding spirit, his masculine spirit, his spirit, his destiny, his guardian spirit. It takes him to a certain place, right? And so it takes one of the children to the rank of Pharaoh. The lighthouse, the house of light. The Son chose this temple, this house of light, to be the next king of all of mankind. Well, what happens is the reason why mankind split up in the first place. The reason why we have different languages to confuse you about these things and these ideas, right? A magic spell, wordplay, right? Casting a spell, psychology, to confuse you, defining things in terms of worldliness and treachery to confuse you about who is supposed to be in charge, because these sex-crazed, worldly scum cannot for the life of them overcome their jealousy and envy that God chose me. We see this in Cain and Abel and in many other stories in different cultures. Okay? What happens when someone is chosen and you have an envious person? This also happened within the Igbo tribe itself. Neri appealed to the worldly desires of the people, which is where democracy comes from. If I am not chosen by God, by that righteous spirit that allows one man to triumph over another, sparring, okay, then I resort to democracy, especially using worldly desires, appealing to ethnocentrism, appealing to your gender, to your complexes, right? You know them by their works, and there's nothing new under the sun. The same jealous bitches. So what then happens if we snuff out the line of God? There is no worthy one. God will not then choose someone who didn't stand with him. How can that make sense? Even in the Bible, the disciples are the ones who spread the gospel. What if no one stood with Jesus? Gone! So when no one stands with me, you'd have to be insane not to see that the sun gate closes. And when the sun gate closes, so does the gates to hell. They will rely completely on psychology. They can't truly summon demons. Demons are a reaction to the divine order, and the living divine order brings to life living demons. That's why they torment me and haven't snuffed me out. So when I die without being married and making love and bringing in ritually, symbolically, and in truth the next Pharaoh, there is no Satanism, just Luciferian Illuminism. Min, chemistry, chemists. Whites, Jews, and Asians, including Indians who do not want to share a hero's fate, teamed up, led the charge, supported by every race, including the usurper Neri. Psychology is used by their elected monarchs, chieftains and so on, to get the people to vote sacrilegiously against God's choice. Then to prove their cowardice and treachery, they team up with the West to deny the true royal family of Eri its place and suitable helpers. That's why it's the kingdom of Neri and not Eri. They're near the earth. The E as the earth, the A as pointing to the sun, the masculine versus the feminine, man versus woman with an E, male versus female, and meek and so on. There's a lot of words with the E that prove my point. The A can also be the bull that covers the light. That's part of their con horror, con arts, and so on. Well, I'm going to go over time, so let me just get to the important part. The first force in existence, Chuku. Chuku reveals the Logos, and he is the source of all sacred and divine knowledge. The earth reproduces in disgrace, and God will destroy it. Chi is your guide and your destiny. You need me to see your destiny. I am the light that brings the chi to life. He is, the great chi. He puts things in order through me. This is why it's pervasive in African culture. You have also, Osibo, right, as the leopard, right, very close to Obo, Oba, and Obi, and Igbo. Okay, when you really break it down, African cultures are pointing toward the Igbo more than you think, and yes, this will be covered up over time. All right. Okay, your cowardice was rejected. No sun gate for you or your drug-pushing witches to Neri. Okay, this is a prophecy for Neri. For Neri. I have a religious right to do this. There's no delusions of grandeur. I gave you 4 years and $4,000 if you could beat me. You all got together, harassed me. I have 15 witnesses to the harassment against me. I have, a martial arts related graffiti on my wall, and everyone who knows me knows I can't draw for shit. Certainly not to that degree. Certainly not with that confidence to draw it once on the wall and have it done right. Fucking, it's ridiculous to think that I could. These are big fucking hands for martial arts, not things that scribes do, right? People who draw well, races that draw well are more scribe-leaning races, not big warrior, men of renown, giants, so to speak, right? Heroes of old, right? A lot of people say they're the Nephilim evil people. Even in the Bible, at least some of them were heroes of old. And the ones not chosen by God were big ogre brutes. How can you not make the distinction between Narmer and a fucking ogre? Is he shaped like fucking the Hulk, the Rock, Stone Cold? No, he's shaped like a martial artist, like a light temple, hawk, leopard, sun spirit, warrior, the way I am, even after losing 30 pounds of muscle, but it's spread out over 6'4", right? 20, 30 pounds of muscle loss. And of course, that didn't make me slow. I have pictures and definition and so on. Anyway, I am the bright morning star, the one sent from the great Chi-Chuku. I am Haru, the hawk king of all man, rejected by Egypt for worldly ideas, chemistry, science, and psychology. Okay? I am not Jesus. This is an idea given to you by the West. I am the martial arts anointed king of Eri. Okay? I am related to the royal family of Eri, where they split from Neri. And everyone who knows Igbo history to a large degree knows who my family is, and they know that this is how things work. The Igbo leader isn't born, or should I say just born. He emerges with the chi. He rises with the sun.